Haribol, namaste. Krishna. Jaya Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Parivedika Satara Satya Shishima Chigakuru Siddhaswarupananda Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jaya Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Parivedika Satara Satya Shishima His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koda Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Nitai Goswal Mission Ki Jai. Navadvita Ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Shamakund Radhakund Giri Govardhana Ki Jai. Vrindavanam Ki Jai. Mathuradam Ki Jai. Mayapodam Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Jamuna Mai Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada's appearance day Ki Jai. All glories to some of the devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to some of the devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to some of the devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. Amagina Timarandasya Gana Gana Shalakaya Jaksurun Militanyena Tajmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantekam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalan Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrijatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sadyevam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagapate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhi Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sutu Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakapa Turubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanan Pavenbhyo Vaishnavbhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Asadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So before speaking, first I offer my humble obeisances at the lotus feet of my spiritual master, Jagaguru Siddhaswarupananda Srila Prabhupada, who is very dear to Lord Krishna, having taken shelter at his lotus feet. Srila Prabhupada is the mercy manifestation of Lord Chaitanya, and is very dear to Radha and Krishna. I offer my humble obeisances at the lotus feet of all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who are like wish-fulfilling trees, able to fulfill all the desires of the fallen living entities, and are full of compassion upon them. Hi Bo, Namaste. Thanks for watching. So we're in the lead up of the last few days before our spiritual master's appearance day. So a very special day for all of us to contemplate and meditate upon the glories of our spiritual master, and how fortunate we are to have come into contact with him. Lord Chaitanya, in his teachings with the Srila Rupa Goswami, or his discussion with Srila Rupa Goswami, he said, Brahmanda Brahmate Kona Bhagyavan Jiva Guru Krishna Prasadi Bhai Bhakti Lada Bija. So Brahmanda refers to the universe, and Brahmate means to be wandering. So we're wandering in this universe, Brahmanda Brahmate. So wandering from one species of life to the next, one body to another, lifetime after lifetime. We it's described as our being within this material world is described as being anadi, or beginningless, can't be traced out. So when people hear about reincarnation, they often like to think, I wonder what it was, wonder who I was in my last life, wonder if I was someone famous, right? Wonder if I was Cleopatra, right? Or I wonder whoever I was, right? So we tend to think in terms of, our last life, maybe 2 lives, but we don't meditate and contemplate upon the reality that, we are eternal spiritual beings, jivatma, and we have been wandering in this material world from time immemorial, anadi, beginningless, cannot be traced out. So how many lifetimes have we had? It's innumerable, unable to be counted. So Brahmanda Brahmate, as a result of our karma, our activities and our desires, we create our current body, and in our current body we create our future bodies as a result of our activities and our desires. And this goes on, and the samsara, the cycle of the wheel of birth and death, from one body to the next. And each one, it feels like a brand new experience, and which it is. And we have to learn all the ropes of how to operate within this particular body that we've now find ourselves in. And we go through the experience of birth, death, disease, and old age. This is Janma, Mritu, Vyadi, and Jara. Jara is the old age. So we go through this cycle of birth and death. But then Brahmanda Brahmate Kona Bhagyavan Jiva. So a jiva who is Bhagyavan, very fortunate. So very fortunate, so great good fortune. Guru Krishna Prasadi Pai Bhakti Lada Bija. So by the grace of Krishna, somehow or other, through great good fortune, somehow or other Krishna brings us in contact with our Guru, our spiritual master. And by the grace and mercy of our spiritual master, the prasad, the mercy. So by the mercy of Krishna we get Guru, by the mercy of Guru we get Krishna. And we receive the Bhakti Lada Bija, the seed. Bija is seed. And the Bhakti Lada is the creeper of devotion. So, we're wandering throughout this material world, and then somehow or other, by great good fortune, by the mercy of Krishna, we come in contact with Krishna's devotee, his representative, the bona fide spiritual master, who then by his mercy then gives us Krishna and gives us the seed of the creeper of devotion. So not only does our spiritual master give us the seed of the creeper of devotion, but also he gives us the method for growing it, which is the hearing and chanting, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Harinam, chanting of Krishna's holy names. So Prabhupada on different appearance days and at different gatherings, he's always telling us the best thing you can do for me is to chant. So then he's very pleased with us, to chant Krishna's holy names. This is very pleasing to our spiritual master. This is very pleasing to the devotee of Krishna. And they're pleased because it's good for us. They're our spiritual master. Srila Prabhupada is our ever well-wisher, who is wishing the best for us. And when he sees us doing the thing that's going to actually help us, then he becomes very happy, very satisfied. To see the devotees chanting Krishna's names, this is very satisfying for the spiritual master, for Srila Prabhupada. He becomes very pleased. It's pleasing to Krishna, it's pleasing to his spiritual master, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and pleasing to him, as we engage in the activity that's actually going to help us and actually result in our becoming lovers of Krishna and becoming purified and liberated from this material world. Not that our goal is to achieve liberation. Our goal should be to serve our spiritual master. We don't care whether it be here or in the spiritual world. It's non-different to be within this material world and to be engaged in the devotional service of Krishna than it is to be in the spiritual world and be engaged in the service of Krishna. The activity is the same. And it's this activity of devotional service, of chanting Krishna's names and engaging in Krishna's service, is actually this is what spiritual life is. So it doesn't matter where we are. It's this attitude of service and pure devotional service without a desire for karma or jnana. So no desire for fruitive result and no desire for liberation or mystic perfections, or no material desires. So this only desire to be pleasing to our spiritual master and Krishna. So brāhmaṇa brāhmate kona bhagyavan jiva Guru Krishna prasadi paya bhakti lata bija. We're wandering throughout this material universe from time immemorial, sometimes going up, sometimes going down, one particular body to another particular body. And then somehow or other, by great fortune, the fortunate living entity comes in contact by the Guru, the representative of Krishna. As a result of Krishna's mercy, Krishna gives us Guru. And then by Guru's mercy, we receive Krishna and the seed of the Bhakti Lata Bija, the creeper of devotion. So anyway, so we can contemplate, meditate upon this as Srila Prabhupada's appearance day coming up in 2 days, and we can, we should always, every day we should take this opportunity, but in particular on Srila Prabhupada's appearance day, we should take the opportunity to contemplate and meditate upon our great good fortune as to come in contact with Srila Prabhupada. So returning to Bhagavad Gita as we continue our journey through the 5th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, which is entitled by Bhaktivedanta Swami, Karma Yoga, Action and Krishna Consciousness. So at in the second half of the 4th chapter, of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is speaking about different ways to attain knowledge. Then in chapter 4, text 34, Tadvidi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya upadekshanti te gyanam gyaninas tattvadashinaha. If you want to know about tat, that, this that I've been speaking of, about transcendental knowledge and how to attain and receive transcendental knowledge, then one must approach with submission, humility, surrender, and with inquiry and a mood of service. So 3 things, submission, inquiry. In other words, we're wanting to know the actual truth. Not that we're just inquisitive in general. Oh, I'm interested in this, I'm interested in that. No, like actual sincere inquiry. As it begins in the Vedanta Sutra, Athato Brahma Jignasa. Athato, now. Now is the time to inquire into the absolute truth. Jignasa, inquiry, Brahma, the absolute truth. Now is the time to inquire into the absolute truth. So this is how we should be approaching a bona fide spiritual master, in this mood of submission, appreciation that actually I don't know anything. The spiritual master is a tattvadashinaha, a seer of the truth, a seer of the actual situation that the jiva, the living entity, finds themselves within this material world. So we approach such a bona fide spiritual master, a seer of the truth, in a mood of submission and humility, and with inquiry, to actually seek out the answers to who am I, why am I here, and why am I suffering? And then engage in service, a serving attitude. In other words, gratefulness. We appreciate what we're receiving, and therefore we render service, loving service, and not service in a mood of, what do I get in return? It's not a business transaction. It's a mood of service out of love, loving service, bhakti. So, then Krishna then described the glories of transcendental knowledge. If we want to attain and receive transcendental knowledge, one should approach a bona fide spiritual master. Then following this, Krishna described a little bit about transcendental knowledge, or a little bit more about transcendental knowledge. And then he described the glories of transcendental knowledge in several verses. Following which then Arjuna at the beginning of chapter 5 is a little confused. Well, gee, Krishna, you've been talking about karma yoga, engaging in action, but then also now you've been talking about jnana, or the pursuit of transcendental knowledge, and different processes for attaining transcendental knowledge. So now I'm kind of confused. Please tell me which is best. To engage in action, or to engage in sankhya, analysis, discussion, philosophical discussion, in seeking to understand the absolute truth. So of course, Arjuna has been confused about this. Previously, this is actually why Krishna is speaking Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna in the first place, because of Arjuna's confusion about what he should do. In the beginning of chapter 3, Arjuna expressed his confusion. Gee, I'm not sure, what do you want me to do? And then the beginning of chapter 5, he expresses it again. Krishna, of course, makes very clear that, that action is what you should be doing, engaging in action, in karma yoga. This is better than sannyas yoga or renunciation. It's practical, it's easier. Everyone, you can't even maintain your body without action. And Krishna describes that these are both processes on the same path. Karma and jnana are both leading to the same goal, to the same result. And this result, of course, is transcendental knowledge. So either way, but of the two, Karma Yoga is easier and better to perform. So then, having established that, then Krishna then, begins to, in the next section, describes how to work, what karma, or again describes working without attachment. In other words, Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga means to work without attachment to the results, and ultimately to be surrendering the results to Krishna, to the Supreme Lord. And then Krishna again described a little bit more about about transcendental knowledge, who the doer is. And then this has brought us to the point where at the end of that section, text 16, Krishna described how one is enlightened with knowledge, which destroys nescience, and his knowledge reveals everything as the sun lights up everything in the daytime. So of course this is similar to this prayer that we chant, Om Ajnana Timarandasya Gana Gana Shalakaya Chaksurun Militanyena Tajmai Shri Guruve Namaha. I was born in the darkest of ignorance. My spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of transcendental knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. So this is, our spiritual master opens our eyes with the torch of transcendental knowledge, or sometimes it's described as a salve. If our eyes are blocked up, then we apply a salve so that we're able to open them, and then we can again see. So, when we're enlightened with transcendental knowledge, then we can see everything. Then his knowledge reveals everything. So then Krishna in the next section, this is like the fourth theme within this chapter, chapter 5, sequence of verses from 17 to 26, Krishna describes, liberation, being fixed in the Supreme. So in 3 verses in this section, he uses the term brāhmaṇam. So nirvana means to extinguish the flame on a candle. Oftentimes it's considered to be a Buddhist term, but of course Krishna is speaking Bhagavad Gita before the appearance of Lord Buddha. So Lord Buddha is actually using, Krishna's term, or the Vedic term, right, or the Upanishadic term of brāhmaṇam. So becoming fixed in the Supreme. So the extinguishment of our material existence. Of course, the impersonalists and the Buddhists take it as cessation of existence altogether, the void, and impersonalists take it as extinguishing this illusory, what they consider to be this illusory idea that we exist as an individual and become merged into become God in the sense of merging into the existence of God and losing our individual existence. But of course, Krishna is not meaning that. Krishna is referring to liberation in the Supreme, brāhmaṇam. So this means actual understanding of my identity as pure spirit soul, servant of Krishna, and that I'm the dominated part and parcel of Krishna, and that my function is to render loving service to him, the science of identity, as Prabhupada has explained it. So 2 weeks ago we studied the verse that when one's text 17, when one's intelligence, mind, faith, and refuge are all fixed in the Supreme, in Tat, then one becomes fully cleansed of misgivings through complete knowledge, and thus proceeds straight on the path of liberation. This was yukta. So yoga means to link up with the Supreme, right? Union with the Supreme. But yukta refers to one who is in union with the Supreme. So when our mind and our faith and our refuge, our intelligence, are all fixed in the Supreme, all fixed in meditation and contemplation and taking shelter of Krishna, then we become cleansed of all misgivings. We achieve complete knowledge and proceed straight on the path of liberation. So this is actually like to be freed from the cycle of birth and death. Actually, the Sanskrit was, become freed from birth and death. So this is describing liberation and giving up this body. But now, in this next text 18, Krishna then describes the situation of the Jivan Mukta, one who's liberated in this body that is not yet resident within the spiritual world. So Krishna says, Vidya Vinaya Sampane Brahmane Gavihastani Suni Chaiva Swapakke Cha Pandita Samadashina. Vidya Vinaya Sampane Brahmane Gavihastani Suni Chaiva Swapakke Cha Pandita Samadashina. The humble sage, the Pandit, by virtue of true knowledge, Vidya, sees with equal vision. This is Samadashi, Dashinaha, seeing with equal vision. A learned and gentle brāhmaṇa, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog-eater, outcast. So the humble sage, by virtue of true knowledge, sees with equal vision a learned and gentle brāhmaṇa, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog-eater. Continuing what Krishna has been speaking about in chapter 4 and throughout Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is glorifying and explaining transcendental knowledge. So a person who is infused with transcendental knowledge, who's a tattva dashinaha, so a tattva refers to the thatness, is the literal translation of tattva, but it means truth, like real truth, actual truth, not relative truth, but absolute truth. And Dashina is one who's a seer of this absolute truth. One is a seer of the truth. As a result of having transcendental knowledge. So Krishna is again glorifying this transcendental knowledge, and then he's explaining how a pandit, one who actually has transcendental knowledge, how they actually see. So what does it mean, tapadashi? Right? What is he seeing? What is this person seeing? Sridhar Swami, the commentator on Bhagavad Gita, he poses the verse as answering this question. Now the question may arise, what kind of persons are those who achieve moksha or liberation? Who are they? And then, so Krishna then answers this question by explaining how the liberated person, or the pandit, the one who's wise with transcendental knowledge, how he actually sees. And so this verse refers to a brāhmaṇa, an elephant, a cow, a dog, and a dog-eater. Right? So there's five different things. They're not things actually. 5 different jivatmas are described in this verse by Krishna. The Vinaya Brahmani, so the gentle or trained or educated or cultivated Brahmana, a learned and gentle Brahmana. Savanaya Brahmani, and then the Gavi, the cow, the Hastini, the elephant. And Hastinapur, which is in New Delhi, or near New Delhi, which is the capital of the Kurus, means the city of the elephants. There are lots of elephants there. Anyway, so Krishna is saying Hastini, the elephants, or the Suni, or the Shuni, which is a dog, and a Swapake is the dog eater, or an outcast. So there's different kinds of humans being described, people, right? The brāhmaṇa and the dog eater. Right? The dog eater is referring to an outcast or a person. So there's a brāhmaṇa being described, and another type of person, the swapake, the dog eater. And then three kinds of animals are being described, animal species. So the cow, an elephant, and a dog. So the commentators on this verse, they describe in different ways that that this the way the sage sees. So that how does the sage see, or the pundit? How do they see? How do they see the living entities within this world? Well, they see them all equally. And what are they seeing? So they're seeing in or in several ways, but they're seeing that every body, right? Every body is a part and parcel of Krishna, Jivatma, right? Same in quality, not the same in quantity. Like the particle of sunshine coming from the sun. Right? We're one sense, as Lord Chaitanya taught Srila Sanatana Goswami, Achinchya Beta Beta Tapa. Jivira Swarupaya Krishnera Nichadas Krishnera Tatashta Shakti Beta Beta Prakasha. So this Beta Beta means simultaneously one yet distinct, different but not different. Again, a tattva or a truth, and a chincha, inconceivable. Right? So this inconceivable oneness yet distinction. Right? So, which means the living entity is inconceivably one with Krishna and yet distinct, individual, where the Jivatma is the part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. So this is how the Tattva-dashi, the Pandit who has transcendental knowledge, this is how they're seeing all the living entities, all the different life forms that are everywhere. They're seeing them as a Jivatma, part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, and sees them equally. Sama, right? So sama means same or equally, impartially. So this samatvam, seeing equally, sama, equally, this is a characteristic of all of yoga, right? This it also refers to being equal in happiness and distress, so equanimity, equality. So it refers to being equal in happiness and distress, and it also refers to seeing equally. So in other words, like within this material world, we're always measuring. Sometimes the word, I believe the word Maya sometimes can be taken to mean measuring, right? We're always measuring, we're comparing. Who is the most beautiful? Right? Women are always looking to see, is there someone more beautiful than me? Am I as beautiful as she, or am I more beautiful than her? We're always comparing, always. We're looking and identifying, that person's in the upper class, that person's in the middle class, that person's in the lower class. he or she, they have a lot of money. No, they only have a certain amount of money. No, they're very poor. No, they're destitute. He has big muscles. He's very strong. He's a bit of a weakling. His body is deformed. We're always looking and comparing. And then everybody is in a certain, under the influence of, or in a certain mode of material nature, either goodness, passion, or ignorance. And so in this verse, so the Vinaya brāhmaṇa, the cultivated brāhmaṇa, is in the mode of goodness. The swapake, the dog eater, is in the mode of ignorance. Right? Eating dogs is as low as it goes. Right? Some countries, of course, it's totally legal. I read recently that in South Korea they were finally banning dog eating, and people were really bummed out about it. I was listening to a lecture with Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and he was describing how in certain places in India they breed dogs to eat, right? And they feed them molasses and lots of food, and they just feed them tons and tons and tons of it, so they eventually, like he was saying, suffocate to get death. Right? Then they roast. Anyway, I won't go into. They roast them and eat them and so on. Right? This is the swapake, the dog eaters. And they're in the mode of ignorance. Then also these animal species. So the cow is in the mode of goodness. The elephant's in the mode of passion. And the dog is considered to be in the mode of ignorance. So we have, so we're seeing different species. In this verse, Krishna is referring to different species, humans, human species, and then animal species, 3 kinds of animal species. And he's also referring to humans under the influence of different modes of nature, the modes of goodness or the mode of ignorance. And then also within the animals, referring to the animals in the different modes of nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance. And so Krishna is describing how the Pandit, who has transcendental knowledge, sees all of them equally as being individual spirit soul, and not only individual spirit soul, but also sees every body as a temple of Krishna, or the Paramatma, or the Supreme Soul. Para means supreme, Atma, soul. So the Supreme Soul, the Paramatma, which of course is likened within the Upanishads as being 2 birds on the same tree. One of the birds is trying to enjoy the fruit, the Jivatma, and the other bird is watching, the witness, the silent witness, who accompanies the spirit soul throughout its journey through all these different bodies, and is always trying to give us good advice and trying to advise us to turn towards Krishna. So this is how the Pandit sees. He sees every body as being a temple of the Supreme Lord, of the Paramatma, and also sees within everybody the individual spirit soul, and then sees the bodies themselves, the material bodies, as being the result of their past karma, but also as being manifestations of the different modes of material nature. So this is a way to understand and relate to this verse of what Krishna is saying. So Madhva Acharya says that the Supreme Lord Krishna is ever present in each and every being as a witness, energizing them. So like we're energized by the presence of the Supreme Lord as Paramatma. And as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita chapter 15:15, that Savasya chaham hridi sanivisto mata shmita jnana ma pohanam cha, that he's seated within the Hrida, the heart, and from him comes knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. And this is this is the presence of the Paramatma within our heart, within the heart of every living entity, and from whom a minuscule portion comprises the eternal individual soul. So Srila Baladev Vidyabhusana says, Paramatma is equal, sama, everywhere, like rainfall. So the rainfall falls everywhere, and different according to the seed, the species, the different benefits are obtained from the rain. But the rain is equal, falling everywhere. But Paramatma is equal, sama, everywhere, like rainfall, since the respective species receive their forms according to their respective karmas, not through the Lord's like or dislike of certain jivas. So in other words, Krishna is equal to everyone. So Krishna is equal, as Krishna says in several places throughout Bhagavad Gita, that he's equal to all the living entities. So just as Krishna is equal to all the, he loves all his children, all his parts and parcels. But of course, the devotees, he loves the devotees. It's a reciprocal relationship, So like, if you have children, then, some of the children, or perhaps some of the children, aren't relating. So they're like, they've decided, I don't want to have anything to do with you, let's just say. So they go away and don't relate. And then there's others who are like being very loving and always there, and so and the relationship will be there. The parent will be actively engaging in a reciprocal loving relationship with the child who's engaging in a loving relationship with them. So it'll appear that the parent is being partial, but actually it's a result of how the different children are relating. One is ignoring the parent, and the other is relating in a loving way. So naturally, Krishna reciprocates. So Krishna is equal to all the living entities, and similarly, the Pandit, or the learned person who has transcendental knowledge, is also equal. But naturally, of course, they have those they have relationships with, they're relating back and forth with them. So this manifests differently. The enlightened soul, like God, is free from mundane partiality as a result of contemplating the impartiality of the Absolute. He regards all equally, regardless of the species in which they appear or their conduct, be they brāhmanas or outcasts. Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare. Haribo, namaste. Thank you so much. Krishna, Krishna.